and it's your host, Get Good Fox, and how good is the bridge fort? That's going to be the question for today's episode, because we are going to finish building the bridge fort. Welcome back to State of Decay 2, Lethal Zone in the beta. So, I'm expecting a pizza delivery, and knowing my luck, they're going to deliver right in the middle of me doing this episode. So what we're going to do is go look for some building materials and talk about the bridge fort. So, the big question about every four-man base in every map, well, that's not true. It's mainly the original maps. The big question about four-man base in the original three maps is whether or not it's worth it to pursue a five-man base over the four-man base. And the answer, I would say, is probably yes. Most of the time, it's probably worth it to just jump right into the larger base. However, some bases make more of an argument for a pit stop in a smaller base than others. So, for example, the country church, I actually think it is definitely worth it to skip past the country church, with the exception of certain situations, such as if they just give you the country church. By that I mean, if they just, you don't have to fight for it, you don't have to duke it out for the church, there's nothing going on. What about the bridge fort, though? Coming in at 4 survivors required and 500 influence, is the bridge fort worth moving into? Well, let me tell you, the first thing that I like about the bridge fort is that here is the starting location. Notice how it's a really short, just a short drive right over here. And what's also nice is that it takes you closer to the middle of the map. In fact, there's only one map that's more in the middle, which is a convenience. It's very convenient to have access to the middle of the map because it reduces your driving times if you're deploying from the base. And, you will obviously return to the base periodically, for pit stops, for dropping off the supplies you encounter. Okay. But, on Lethal Zone, it's hard enough that although a centrally located base is convenient, it's often more important to just go with whatever is more powerful, because in Lethal Zone, what you need is power. Convenience is a luxury. Useful and worth considering, but it's not the end-all be-all. However, the bridge fort has a few other things going for it that I really like, and especially compared to the country church, is the bridge fort's customization is not half bad. If we take a look here, we'll see that it has 1 large and 4 small. 1 large and 4 small, and the last building I'm going to construct is the shooting range. That is a pretty solid foundation. It's not bad. You can do a lot with 1 large facility. I prefer 2. 2 is kind of like the minimum for me. Well, no, 1 is the minimum, but 2 is kind of, I guess, the ideal minimum, and that's because you can make the 2 big ones. You can build the trade depot, and you can build the, what do you call it, can't even think of it now. The lounge level 3. Lounge level 3 lets you level everybody up, which is a huge pain on the Lethal Zone, and Trade Depot allows you to call in building materials. It has been nerfed, so it's not as good at that, unfortunately. So it's possible, I'm going to toy with the idea, that it's possible that the Forge may be the option. The Forge is capable of constructing building materials out of parts. The conversion rate is not particularly efficient, but it might be the only option in order to construct your base within a reasonable time. But what we're using it for is the trade depot, simply because using the trade depot, it allows us to jumpstart the construction of the rest of the base. And the reason it's handy is because, well, you're not planning to stay in the bridge fort. That's the main thing. It's a pit stop. You're going to stay in it for a little while, and it's nice that you can get building materials when you move for the next base that's going to be even bigger, so it's going to need even more. So it's pretty nice that you can jump into this base nice and early and actually obtain a large facility that's going to either let you train or get more building materials. Oh, it's pretty good. We got both of them here. Okay, this character doesn't have a fighting skill. This is an example of a character who would really benefit if we had access to the not the shooting range, the lounge. Because the lounge would allow, we might get, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get 2 rucksacks from this. This thing has 7 lootables. Oh my god, a set of power tools.
Slow me down a bit.
This place was like, is this like a hidden jackpot? I mean, it's called the Hidden Warehouse. Maybe it's a hidden jackpot location.
Is that it?
What else are we gonna get in here? Anyways, what I was saying though is, it has 4 small facilities. It's really solid, and the reason for that is because you can build all of the essential things, and you have a little room for luxury. And what I mean by that is, so, you're going to have an infirmary, you're going to have your workshop. What I'm going to do, though, is, on Lethal Zone especially, and Nightmare Zone, I would say, you want a fighting gym because you want the extra health. And then we have the all-in-one workout system, so it gives us a little more health and some stamina. So we're going to get 25 health and 5 stamina. Well, when we build the shooting range, it's going to buff our stamina. So we're going to get, a little bit of both, which is really handy because these characters who are not leveled up, it helps them a ton. Oh, this place was awesome. Oh man, we're finding really good stuff here. Let me go ahead and dump this stuff in since it's really heavy. I'm gonna keep the rucksack on just because I'm hoping that.
That's pretty heavy.
Where's the last one at? Here it is. Come on, give me another building. If you give me another rucksack of building materials, then, I will love Hidden Warehouse forever. Okay, it wasn't more building materials, but it wasn't awful either. I'm gonna drop this and take that. Either way, though, two rucksacks, even though they weren't both building materials, that was really, really good. I wasn't planning to have to fall back to this location. But since I'm using a Super Waifu Cafeteria Squad, I don't have to worry about my food. So I don't really need to build a garden. And that means that instead of using that 4th slot for a garden, I can use it for a shooting range. And another thing that's nice about the shooting range is it's through 13 building materials, which is not terrible on what do you call it, Lethal Zone. And I don't need to upgrade it. I mean, if I upgrade it, it's a luxury. Like, it does help if you upgrade it. It basically buffs up your cardio EXP. Or buffs up your cardio EXP. I mean, that's nice and all, but it's not necessary. I mainly want it for the stamina bonus that I don't have to maintain. Now, if you didn't have a Super Waifu Cafeteria Squad to neutralize your food issues, I probably still wouldn't build a garden, mainly because I would want that, shooting range. And what I would do instead is capture a few of those outposts, because even if I have to load up one town with 3 outposts, I'll do it. I'll load up three outposts in one town just to take down my food costs. Let's throw all of this in, like so. Oh man, we're capped on fuel. How unusual. We need to make 1 fuel. We need 1 more building material in order to finish the base. But conveniently, we've got an attack. So we got an attack coming in. This is one of the things I wanted to talk about. So one of the weaknesses of the bridge fort is that the base doesn't. It's not great when it comes under attack. And that's because normally I would say it doesn't matter, and I'm also going to say it actually still doesn't matter. But what I will say is, if the enemy makes it to the bridge fort, you should definitely handle it personally, because the bridge fort, it's a very close quarters, indoor kind of area, and the zombies do really well there. The zombies do well, and the humans do poorly. And that's because the AI just doesn't handle indoor combat very well. So when they get inside, they're going to get inside, and they are going to, your AI is going to derp out even more than normal, and it's just nasty close quarters combat. Your guys are going to get boxed into melee combat, and that's just not good. You get trapped. It's not good. I don't recommend it. Okay, that looks like it'll have building materials. We'll grab it, and then we'll be able to finish the base. But here's the thing. In the beta, you can stop every single siege from happening just the way I did earlier. You saw how I intercepted that attacking horde, the assaulting horde? Well, you never have to worry about attacks on the base. So, it's just fine. And so I believe I would say the beta removes really the only weakness of the bridge fort, which is that if the zombies attack it, there is a decent chance, a reasonable chance, that your allies will derp up. And if it's like a decent sized attack, like you get like triple ferals in a close quarters building, you're going to be super sad because your allies are just not, they're not going, some of them are going to, basically this is going to happen. Some of them are going to be on the top floor, and obviously they can't shoot through the roof or the floor of the second floor. And what's going to happen is they're just going to, they're just going to get, they're not going to be able to support their allies. They're going to get owned. That's what's going to happen. So it's
Damn,
not good.
2 seconds in plague territory and I'm already sweating.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to sweat for a little while then, because don't worry, like 1 minute of recording without my air conditioner on and I'm already sweating. Okay, a weird sloshing noise. But I believe that takes away its only weakness, and like I said, in the situation we've got, I am able to build most of the important facilities, and it's honestly not bad. Sure, I'd love to have a second large facility, and by having a second large facility, I could have my cake and eat it too. Like, that's the only thing that I'm really missing, because I can live with 4 small facilities. It's not optimal. You know, you would be missing a few important things, like a crafting still, in order to process your additional food. But it's honestly not bad. Let me see if we can find, like, maybe one more building material. Sud City Laundry, Dewey's Hardware. Let's go right over there. Let's see if we can grab it. It's right next to the Plague Guard, but we don't actually need to fight the Heart. Mainly because if we construct that, it's going to hurt our morale a little bit, so this is a good idea right here. Throw this in the back. I'll throw this too. So overall, I gotta say, I think that the bridge fort has a lot of upsides. Here's another thing. I feel like the quality of the bases in Cascade Hill are some of the, possibly the lowest quality bases in the game across the board. So the thing is, 1 large and 4 small is on, it's not going to get a whole lot better than that, I guess is what I'm saying. A lot of that's what we're going to find in this bay. Unless my memory isn't as strong as it used to be of these bases. I remember these bases being kind of not great because it's hard to get multiple large facilities. And 1 large facility, you know, like, it will get the job done, but you're really going to be sad that you don't have both the trade depot and the shooting range, or not the shooting range, the lounge level 3 up at the same time. That is such an amazing blend of large facilities, able to doctor up your building materials to let you finish up the base and allow you to train up all of your characters in the lethal zone, where it's like the skills, like a lot of the skills, they're a pain to train up. Like they're frankly just not very fun to train up. Like just constantly bashing down zombies and fighting, it takes a long time. And the, what do you call it? The shooting range, the fighting gym combined with the lounge, because like you do get the EXP benefits from them, lets you level up all the major stats. Like basically lets you level everything up on your characters, and it's awesome. Let's go ahead and build the, oh, looks like okay, we're right at the limit. So I'll let that continue. It's not a big deal. I forgot that we need a little more labor. Our labor, how much labor do we need? We need 2 people. Maybe I'll recruit somebody. I don't think there's anybody who is available. Encouragement. I don't need encouragement. Get encouragement out of here. So the, basically, it's kind of interesting. It's not that the bridge fort, it's not that 1 large and 4 small is like, wow, man, absolutely mind-melting. Like, it's the fact that most bases do not have access to 2 large. So, in fact, I think there's only 2 bases in Cascade Hills that have access to 2 large. And that would be More and More and the bridge, the container fort. I think those are the only 2 bases. And the thing is, More and More is a larger base. It's this one right here. More and More is, yeah, 6. It's a 6-man, 1,500 influence base. And, oh, I'll take that. Yes, please. So I'm going to take somebody here. Sewing. Sports trivia.
So nice to see you.
Medicine. Okay, I don't think we... I'm actually going to take sewing, because it increases our stack size.
Always glad to see you.
You'd be better off with us than staying here.
Let me go ahead and bring her here manually. Oh, we have the labor immediately, so let's go ahead and get it built. Boom, there we go.
I thought that losing my family, my kids, was the worst thing I'd ever experienced. Now I go through the same thing almost every week.
Let me guess, you just told a story that's super sad, and so you're gonna lose morale. You're like, I am super sad now. Let me see. Amelia, are you super sad now? Oh, good. Good, you're not super sad now. So sewing gives you 1 stack size. That's honestly not awful. 10 health, 1 stack size, and I guess you get knowledge of craftsmanship. Knowledge of craftsmanship alone is not great, I would say. But 10 health and 1 stack size, there are definitely worse benefits. And it is a benefit that if you were to get multiple people with sewing, you should get multiple plus 10 health and multiple plus 1 stack size, which is odd. Now that isn't bad. Stack size is a pretty good stat. If you don't know what stack size does, stack size increases how many duplicate items are allowed to condense into a single inventory slot. So by default, for example, right over here, our stack size for energy drinks and strong painkiller, it's 3. So by default, it's 3. So now it's going to be 4 because of sewing. And one of the things that's really nice is, well, it means that you can save on inventory. Like if you keep finding snacks,
I guess that's
if you keep finding painkillers, it doesn't junk up your inventory nearly as much. And it also allows you to stack certain things that previously could not be stacked. For example, you can't, typically speaking, you cannot stack first aid kits. But if you improve your stack sizes, you can stack first aid kits. And it's pretty handy. The same with Assault. Assault is probably my second favorite. Oh, let's go ahead and squish this Feral. There we go. I don't actually want to lure them to the base for the reasons I mentioned earlier, that this base is a little dangerous. You know, you wouldn't want to lure an attack force here. That wouldn't be very smart. So since we're so close to the base, like I said, to work around some of the weaknesses of this base, let's go ahead and just defend the base personally. And to do that, we're just going to ram through these guys. Because once again, not a base you want to ignore. You do not want to ignore the defense of this base. Let's go ahead and put all of this stuff away. You can be dismissed. Apparently you're stuck. That's fine. And you're going through the vehicle that is like trying to phase through the Shadow Realm.
I'm listening.
Dismissed.
Too long.
Ammo. Apparently we're doing okay on ammo. And now we can go deliver this. Oh yeah, I forgot. We've got the jerk butts over there. Forgot all about the jerk butts. I really don't like that quest because you do have to protect somebody. I'll have to see if there is an option to tell them to not join me in the struggle. Because if I can tell them to not join me, that is going to make things a lot easier. Let me call some allies in. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the bridge fort. Overall, I think it's actually a pretty good base. And it has a lot to do with... there's just a lot of conveniences with it. It's a very, I think that's the best way to describe the Bridge Fort. The Bridge Fort is a really convenient base. I like the location. I like how, like, remember how the country church takes you very far away? I really like how this base is just kind of on the path to the middle of the base. Like, the country church would be the one, like, over here. This would have been the country church. You can see right here as well, lock and key, self-storage, 1 large. Now, it has 7 small, but I would easily trade 1 small for a large. I would absolutely do that. Over here, you've got 2 large, so that's one of the bases that have 2 large. You've obviously not in that one. You got one large here. This base, 1 large, and this base has 2 large. So yeah, out of all the bases in this map, only 2 of them have 2 large, and 2 large, like I said, I feel like that's kind of the bare minimum.
Come on in and stay safe.
Here's your ammo. Let's see what benefit we get.
See you soon, yeah?
Jogging buddies. Hey, that's actually a pretty good one.
to do this?
Jogging Oh, they're selling me the... I wish they would do this in the Twitch playthrough. The Twitch playthrough is currently struggling with building materials because our allies won't sell us any, and now with the trade depot nerf, it's
Always glad to see you.
harder to get building materials, so now I have to wait in my base and kind of not do anything. That's okay, though, I guess.
Gotta be a plague heart around here somewhere.
Welcome to the party.
I'm not saying I'm gonna cut someone, but I'm not saying it either.
Let's go do that. Let's go say hi to them. So yeah, you would have to, you know, if you want 2 large. Okay, this is the pattern, I think. I think the optimal pattern for base progression, obviously you want to get to the container fort. And so what I would do is I would either go from the starting base, I probably would go to the bridge fort, to be honest. And then after the bridge fort, I think you have your options. You can either A, save up all the way and move into the container fort, or if you want like another mid-range option, you could go into more and more. I think both of those are... Oh, I'll take that. And that. Good deal. I'm also going to buy the fuel, because, well, I can always just turn the fuel into gasoline.
Hey, amigo.
You interested in trading?
Okay.
And with the amount we drive, yeah, it's gonna be a good idea. Now you might say, what do I think is better? If you have a super waifu cafeteria squad, I would say going from the bridge fort directly into the container fort is probably the best idea, and that's because you're not gonna have a problem going from 4 survivors to 8 survivors, like, while beating up your food supply. If you don't have a super waifu cafeteria squad, then you'll probably want to go into more and more, because you're going to be playing the game slower, right? You're gonna need more time to build up your strength, and jumping, unless you have the ability. Okay, here's one thing you could do. If you add 5 people, so you get 4 people, go to the bridge fort, then you get to 5 people, then let's say you could collapse a community, could collapse a story mission, and force all of them to join you, that might be different. Because then you could just jump right into the container fort. I want to move this over a little bit. I want to scoot over. I want to share the space a little bit. Whoa, this thing, like, drives backwards really fast. I was expecting that. A little bit of, it's got get up and go, but get up and go from backwards. Not, I mean, like, not complaining, just unexpected. That's the way I describe it. I love how, like, so I ordered pizza, like, over an hour ago, and then, oh, it'll be there in a half an hour, and it's like, I wanted to record earlier in the day, to be completely honest, just to, like, have all the episodes ready, and I'm just like, well, you know, I don't want to record while, you know, people might come over and, like, deliver the food, and no, of course, it's, like, taking forever, and they're probably going to deliver the food while I'm streaming, and that's just going to, this is just, like, it's one of these days. I'll just put it that way. This is one of these days. It'll be fine, though. I'll call him and find out what's going on after this. So, overall, we got our base coming along. The depot itself will be done in 10 minutes. The shooting range in 7 minutes. What I might do is jump cut until they are all completed. Actually, let's refuel. I shouldn't have done that. We need a little bit of fuel in this vehicle. Now, it is going to put it in the cargo van, but that's fine. All we got to do is get it out of the cargo van, because like I said, you can't really share the slots in terms of base deposit to vehicle, but you can share the slots from the perspective of deposit vehicle to base.
I could use a hand.
Oh, a mysterious broadcast.
Any delays.
I didn't see what their enclave name was. Okay, these are, I don't think these are the fireside campers. Like, this is going to be a different quest. I thought it might have been the plague researchers, but then it would have just said it right there. The plague researchers. Because if it was the plague researchers, then we would have gotten our biochem lab. And we just got to get over there. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Are you a Bridgefort fan? You know, and what were you expecting me to say about the Bridgefort? That's like another big thing right there. You know, like, because I bet some of you guys are making predictions on, like, what does Fox think of this particular base? Okay, this one's actually really good. I'll buy the fuel. This one's great because we're going to get 4 cent blocks from this. So this one is awesome. I'm very happy to do this quest. But yeah, like, originally, when I was originally thinking of this base, just kind of in an offhanded manner, I'm like, yeah, this base kind of stinks. Like, you know, it's not, you know, like, why not just move into a 5-man base? But the problem is that it just hit me that, wait, what about the church? I forgot. Does the church have, how many, what about the church? The church. Isn't church on the hill on this, somewhere on this map? Oh, the church is also a single slot. I forgot though. The church can do the same thing Whitney Field can do. So maybe I spoke too soon, and I'm sure people are gonna put in the comments section like, oh, but like the church can do like Whitney Field things. I completely forgot the church. I thought the church was on a different map. But yeah, like, okay, so there might actually be a reason. I forgot all about that. There might be a reason to actually skip this base now that I think about it, because you might want to move instead into the church. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. So, basically, I still think that the Bridgefort is solid, but what I'm going to say is that there is a reason to go into a 5-man base. And even though the church only has one large facility as well, what it does have is access to an announcer box equivalent. Let me see.
Hey, over here.
Right here. It's called the bell tower. So the bell tower is equivalent to the
Okay, we need to talk.
yeah, just give me
That don't sound good.
Ugh, I can smell them.
where is it?
This many? It's gonna be a situation.
Nothing good left in here.
Where is it? Let me guess, it's on the second.
No more Zeds to kill?
Okay, there it
Fine
is.
by me.
Time to get out of here. But yes, okay, so the bell tower is capable of doing the exact same thing as Whitney Field. And by that I mean it is able to farm sieges, meaning the bell tower would be really, really awesome. So this is what okay, let me like make an adjustment. I would say if the Bridgefort and the church have the same number of plague guards protecting them, then I would say that it is worth it to skip the Bridgefort and go straight into the church so that you can start farming influence. However, if you're not as confident with the game, and let's say you need to crush more plague guards to get into the church, it probably is still worth it to move into this base. But what you would do is, instead of building a trade depot, what you would do is build... You would build the sheriff. Because the sheriff would allow you to level up all of your characters to the max. Then what you could do is move into the, what do you call it? The church. And then you could start farming. Then so yeah, that's the pattern right there. So you can move into the bridge fort if it's easier to get into. If they're the same difficulty to get into, then I'd recommend skipping the bridge fort. But if the bridge fort is easier to get into, then yeah, you could probably go into the bridge fort. It's only 500 influence. You'll make all of that influence back easily in the, what do you call it? In the church. So that's not even a problem. Let me see if I can get my standing here. There's another one. Oh, looks like they are derping out. I need to drive slowly, otherwise it'll trigger a dodge reaction from them. And we're almost there. It looks like he'll need one more outing to finish up. Anyways, I think what I'll do is I will jump cut and you'll get to see the finished product. Okay, so I farmed a little bit of standing in the meantime, so we now have breaks the tension. Not super great, like 3 morale. I guess it's whatever. One thing I gotta say though, the graphics overhaul has not really diminished at all the rather like nice looking location this is. In fact, I kind of actually like the rusty bridge with the like little bit of a river going behind it. Here's the base though. As you can see, we've got our basics, our workshop, our infirmary, the fighting gym, buffing our health, and our stamina to a little bit. And over here, buffing our stamina. Too bad there isn't a mod that buffs your stamina from that perspective. And then over here, we've got our trade depot that is going to let us summon traders. You also earn a little more money. You get a 250 influence per day. That they did buff up. Definitely not worth the nerf, though. But overall, I would say this base is worth moving into. 1, if it's easy to get, and 2, if you're also like, if you don't like using what you might consider overpowered strategies. Some people, they don't like using OP strategies. I'm all about OP strategies. I like using the most powerful, legitimate strategies in the game to absolutely steamroll the highest difficulty. I don't like to hold back. I like to throw everything I've got at the game and steamroll it, and I prefer if the game gets harder so that I can steamroll a higher difficulty. I'm not a fan of holding back personally, but if you are someone who thinks that that's an overpowered technique and therefore you don't like it, then absolutely, this would be an awesome base. I would also say this is an awesome base if you're not crazy about destroying lethal zone plague guards, you'd like to be built up a little more. And let's say the church has more defenses, then yeah, I would say it is definitely worth it to squish 1 plague guard or 0 plague guards to get into the bridge fort, build up your strength with the lounge level 3, and with beefed up characters, then move into the country church. And then I would actually say all of the other bases suck compared to the country church. As a result, now that I remember that, not the country church, the church on the hill, now that I know that it has the bell, that I remembered that it has the bell tower, and then you probably wouldn't even go to the container fort when you've got the church on the hill. But you know, I'm still gonna review the other bases because I know not everybody wants to use the bell. Anyways, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Like the video if it was entertaining. I'm gonna wait for my pizza, but of course remember that you don't have to be good to get good.